Bad chat and 50B right off the bat. Two
That's what I
tanks, which
wanted to see was a 50B. Yes, sir. I like this pick, and the reason I like this pick is the AMX 50 Bravo
because it
is
works
fast.
25% of the time.
Well, if you can get a second 50B, because that's the only way this would work, and you can get those guys steaming through the Banana Road, which is the 8-line road. If you can get those guys steaming through there and up and behind the team before they can really crest the hill, you have a real opportunity to make those guys either A, think about turning around, or B, you can kind of catch them from both angles and make them make a hard choice of which direction you attack. But again, they got to be quick.
Well, with a bad chat, I don't see that working. Because I don't imagine the bad chat's going to go hill. And I don't imagine the 50B is going to want to flank around anymore with that bat chat because he's going to get spotted. So what might happen is the 50B may push up on the hill, be the first tank there, and then put in easy damage on the Rated R's first tank up. And then already owning that high ground.
Another play I've seen too from a couple of high competitive teams as well is as long as you're knowing that the enemy team is going to go to the hill, like say they bring a little bit faster lineup or whatever, is to have 250Bs. Just kind of chill for that split second and then gunner down the 2 line, and you can usually catch those tanks as they come up the hill on their side.
Yeah, maybe get a few hit points up, and then if you're lucky, even a tank up.
Finally, there's a WZ on the board. Been waiting for that tank to get played and see how it performs.
I can't wait to play mine more. I've just been grinding silver lately. I haven't had the opportunity to really sit down and play it. Yeah, I've decided not to spend any more money in this game, so I have no gold to take out equipment, so I've been grinding money for equipment. And I've got to equip the 5A and the Super Conk. But I also want to buy 13105 and my ARL and all this other stuff. Tis a grind.
Well, it looks like both teams are all set. If you guys want to go ahead and run down the lineups, and then we'll get this game underway. Game one.
Latin Gaming pulls out 1 E4, a Batchat, 2 IS7s, an E100, a Super Conqueror, a 50B, and a 113.
RTD-R is bringing an E4, 2 Batchats, an IS7, 57 Heavy, 2 Super Conks, and a WZ 5A. 111.
You know, looking at this lineup, I almost feel like LG, their lineup would work better if the cap circle was down on the railroad. So I'm wondering if they have the spawns, the location mixed up.
I'm almost thinking they are, but I find the 2 Batchats interesting. That's kind of a odd pick on a city map like this. There's no place for those guys to really roam around and do much unless you're going to be sitting at like F2 or F3, and then again you're already essentially down 2 tanks because those guys are forever away, and they're really suspect on penning some of those tanks from that kind of distance.
I think their plan is to overmatch the 50B and 113 if those guys decide to push down and around. I think they're putting all their marbles into one basket and hoping that that's what LG does with their 113 and 50B is push them down. Maybe down Banana or the 3-line or something of the sort.
Maybe they're going to try to stop them before they go up the hill. That's another possibility, is they could be looking to go out, spot them, and just harass them before they get up there. But again, both teams have a bat chat, so it's really twofold in that case. We'll see what happens.
Looks like LG's bat chat might try to spot them crossing there.
He's going to too. He's going to get him right here. No,
Unfortunately,
maybe
there's a
not.
fountain now. Oh,
He gets
spotted.
spotted in return.
And he pulls forward right before the IS, whatever the heck it's
Ooh.
called. 5A. He's not spotting anything. Must not have the best crew, because I know we've done this before, and we almost always light them up.
I'm trying to see which bat's spotting him actually, because he's. It's got to be the bat on the bottom side getting the spots. It's got to be Shoddy Snipe getting the spots off instead of King of Guns.
Yeah, and once again, he's not spotting. Evil's not spotting in return, so there we go, now he does.
Yeah, it's Shoddy that's spotting because now they're spotting each other up.
Shoddy is overmatched right now. No, he's not. I have it mixed up. There we go. These guys have one tank. It's Gears who's overmatched. And this bat
he's
chat
getting
down
hit.
below, King is making a play.
But here's what he's
Gears
done
right-
effectively. The E100 and the Super Conk are both turned around, and the E4, they're all looking in the wrong direction. They're looking south behind them for the bat chat. And the bat chat, King Guns is in trouble. He's in
Yeah,
big trouble. He's
he
going to
might go down.
And
He
he's
goes
dead.
down.
Ouch.
50B finishes him off from the above. They shouldn't have ever pushed down that D line. You're always gonna get killed by things up on top of the hill. That's a
I
no.
think he got
no
himself
go.
in a bad position. Now that they're down a tank, it won't be hard, it will be easier for LG to take the hill.
At the same time, I feel Radar should have realized, because this E100 and Super Conqueror still haven't made up the hill. They have had a huge overmatch up on top of the hill, but they never took advantage of it. Once again, Radar is doing exactly what Selva did, and just sitting these two Super Conquerors where they are. And if you remember from last time, Selva had two Super Conquerors there, and they weren't able to do much, because on your 6
think the
pushed
big
around
difference-
the castle.
The big difference in this game is you don't have 5 tanks on the bottom side of the city, so that's really helping those two Super Conks right now. Is right now you're only going to have an E100 and an X50 Bravo on the bottom. So currently they're okay. They're able to use that hold down just a little bit and kind of keep those guys at bay. And they've got their 3 tanks lined up on the side of the building, which is where I wanted to see the Selva guys. So I think they'll be okay for a little bit. They're definitely in good position to support their IS-7 from getting flanked as well.
I'm almost feeling a push from Radar into this lower part, because they have a 3-2 tank overmatch.
Well, here comes Gears coming up the backside of the hill right now, and he's going to do some damage if they are not careful. Nobody's
Shoddy
looking for
Snipe
him.
should spot him. Yes, he
Oh,
does.
and he's going to get the spot. Wow. That's big right
But
there.
now
He
he's
needed that.
Yield is not paying attention. He's about to get clipped. There's 1, 2. Shoddy needs to get up there now. He has the advantage to now kill him. No one's going down. No, he bounces
Oh, and
the
he
last shot.
puts it
fluffs it.
off.
But it doesn't matter. Radar has lost another tank, and now they're falling quite behind on hit points. 13% is a pretty big margin, though. 2 E4 shots will put them straight back in this game.
If they can
57
keep
heavy.
their cool right now
Oof.
and keep what tanks left they have in the game, their guns don't allow. It's starting to fall apart, but if they could have
E4's
brought
now
it
ammo
back.
wrecked. Definitely, they
Here's
definitely
another big
could have. I
thing
think they
is-
should have made a push.
The Super Conk of Yield to None was looking to shoot at the Bat Chat on the bottom side instead of letting his Bat Chat take on Gears, who should have been on a reload one-on-one. And because of that, his IS's WZ 5A paid the major price, and he could have been putting him into El Guillermo and Antrix Matthias, something to that extent. And now it's just down to Shoddy Snipe, and he is in. I don't see how this is going to work for him, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt
Fast
for a
cap.
little bit and see what happens.
I mean, back to that hill situation with that. Yeah.
Oof.
Back to that hill
Back to the hill.
situation. I mean, you really, as a bad chat player, you really can't just be sitting there, you know, looking for something to do. You kind of always want to have your presence felt. I think that's kind of where RTD-R started to fall apart, is where the super conks kind of started getting clipped in the back, and then they started to panic, turn around, and then the IS-7s or whoever was on the top of the hill there was able to start focusing down tanks from behind.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about. I preach to my guys as well. Yeah, you can have your gun in the fight. Your gun can be an active participant in shooting tanks, but are your hit points also in the fight? Are you out hit point? And what I mean by that is just because you're shooting somebody from a distance doesn't mean you're necessarily always doing the right thing. I think a big part of this game too is making sure your tanks are in position to help share the damage, so one tank isn't going to get absolutely just demolished because he's the only target in sight. Because if that's the case, you're going to start losing guns quickly, and getting in damage from a distance isn't going to help you much if your tanks are falling one by one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think the only way RTD-R could have gotten out of that situation definitely was the push on the other side of the castle. I think they did have the overmatch.
Absolutely.
Their super conks could have held where they were, so held the other side of the castle off while your side pushes, and then as soon as their team falls back to support that one side, then you push the super conks up, and then they never would have had to worry about that bat chat coming up from behind.
Game 1 going to LG. Good game to both teams in the first game. Now they kind of know some adjustments. I think it may have been a more feeling out process, as both these teams have probably never played each other. So it was a good feeling out. A good feeling out strategy first game, and we'll see what adjustments are made for game 2.
Yep, and again, this is all new kind of style, 880 with 2-tank limit. It's kind of new to everybody, so it'll take some adjusting for most teams, and it'll be good to see once we get into the later rounds to see how everybody's adjusted and see kind of what the main gameplay is going to be like.
This time through, I'd like to see RTD-R, and my in-game adjustments right here would be to have RTD-R drop one of those bat chats and add another 5A, IS-7, 113, something with a little bit of speed, and really not focus so much. I mean, you don't even really need a bat chat. In fact, you could just probably drop the other one altogether and just do without the bat chats. Get rid of those, get some armor in. You know where the cap is. You know where the fight's going to be. Play that as your advantage. And for LG, I kind of like their setup. If you're going to have an AMX 50 Bravo, I think you can drop the bat chat as well. You don't need it. It did come in handy coming up the backside of the hill. However, I'd probably just drop it, either add a T57 Heavy or add some more armor. That'd be my 2 in-game adjustments. And this time through for RTD-R, I would focus more on what's important. Keeping your gun in the fight, looking in the right direction, and supporting your teammates. They started off okay. However, their bottom side advantage, they had 2 bat chats on 1 bat chat, and they did not capitalize on that when they could have.
Straight British heavies. Into E5s.
There you go. 215 Bravos, where it's at.
215 Bravos. 2 of them, 2 super conks, 2 chieftains, and 2 E5s. And just DPM the enemy. Focus, like, with that kind of a setup. If you can trust your team to focus on one specific target that's called out, that's one of those just Zerg. That's a Zerg setup. You can just go in and charge, because it's not only going to out hit point, you're also going to out DPM. And as long as your team focuses, you're going to win every time. So you just rush them up on top of the hill and then just focus fire.
Absolutely.
There's some more WZs. It's good. And like you said, there's the speed that they need to get on the hill quick and at least get the first couple shots maybe in.
Ooh. Yep, they're going for that. Looks like that hill. First one's the hill kind of a play.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like we got 8 on the side, so if you guys want to roll down the teams again, and then we'll get it going.
Sure thing. Rated
Go
R.
ahead, man.
They've got NE4, Bat Chat, pair of IS7s, 57 heavy, Super Conqueror, and 2 5As.
LG rolling with the E4, Bat Chat, 2 IS7s, the E100, the Super Conqueror, the AMX50B, and the 113.
All right, and off we go for game 2. LG in the lead, 1-0 right now. And it looks like Rated R did take a little bit of that advice, and they dropped one of the Bat Chats. Thank God, you do not need 2. In fact, I'm a firm believer you don't even really need 1 on this map. I guess it's a 50-50 on a Bat Chat, but this is such tight quarters. You're not going to be fighting at C2. You're not fighting at J2. You're not anywhere remotely near that area. You probably shouldn't be. So, really, I don't think there's a need for it because everybody's pretty much going to be spotted fighting between D0 and G0 pretty much. So, I don't see the need for it. Yeah, it can be a flanker. You can get him behind him, but that's also a risky play.
High ground. This is one of the only maps where I don't try to overmatch with my mediums. I like overmatching even on Ghost Town,
Yep,
just so that
I agree.
on the outside of the map. I like overmatching on Ensk sometimes, just so that you have map control. You can hit from more angles. But this is one of those maps where I just feel you can just go straight heavies. Take the hill.
Yeah, and I
keep it.
agree with that too. And even on a map like Ensk, you can do without a Bat Chat, depending on what you're going to do. But a lot of teams use
Straight
Bat Chats.
E4s.
We use Bat Chats. Yeah, we've done that.
Thank God for 2 tank limit.
Yeah. Yeah, we played actually in WCL on Ensk. I think it was PPW we played, and we definitely came out with 6 E4s in a Bat Chat. Highlight of that video, which is on Clone's channel, was absolutely one-shotting, or let me rephrase that, destroying a moss within 3 seconds of being spotted. It's a funny thing.
Yeah, it's on the Nightmare Official.
That's right. Yes, sir. You can check that out. But it looks like, here's my thing with 113s and why I love them so much and why I love 50 Bravos. Those 2 tanks are going to get to the cap before the 2 5As get there. And IS-7. They're going to be up on top, ready to go. Potentially. They're going to make a liar out of me all of a sudden.
Yeah, it looks like those 5As are really putting into gear.
They are, and I'm pretty
Pushing
sure.
an IS-7
maybe I
as
can go
well.
back
That
and check,
IS-7 is going to get there quickly.
which is insane because you would think the 50 Bravo is faster than both of those tanks. Should be there first, as well as the 113.
Oh, and they punish him. There's the ability to whip with that 5A. 50B thought about poking around to put a clip in, changed his mind immediately as another IS-7 pokes around, put the shell into him, and now he's going to pull in. He is taking some hits, but it looks like he's going to take another hit from an IS-7. IS-7's going to put another shell in. No, he does not go all the way around to put the shell in. I think I would have been tempted to do it, get him down to almost a 1 hit. Granted, your IS-7 may take a hit or 2, but just getting that 50B down more hit points, he's gonna have this fear, and the 50B won't want to do anything anymore, and that's sometimes big, sometimes worth taking the 800 hit points from the 113 and the IS-7. I guess that would have been more like 900.
Rated R has a huge advantage right now. They have not capitalized on it. If those 2 5As came just a little bit faster around the corner, they had LG stopped in their tracks. The E100 is not in the fight yet. Neither is D4.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to say. Seeing this from a spectator point, the WZs and even, you know, if the IS-7s could have put so many rounds into the tanks, like the enemy LG players that were already on the hill before the E100 and Super Conks were even close up to the hill, able to return fires. So
I don't like where Weeman is. He's not able to get any shots because his team is in the way, and he's not using his hit points or his armor. I think what he needs to do is get down and join these 5As to push this side out, because we saw what happened when they, who was it? On your 6 had Super Conks down there. They were just unstoppable. But now, LG has the overmatch on the underside of the castle, and so I feel the best play now for Rated R is, yep, what the Super Conqueror is doing now, exactly, pushing it over here and taking the overmatch on the top side of the castle. Get these guys in crossfire, make LG make a decision as to which side of the castle they want to push. But right now they're just in a losing trade, a losing battle against this 113 and IS-7. They're doing a great job at effectively using their armor, putting shells in. And now the E4 punishes. Both E4s seem to punish each other there. Unfortunately, it hurt
This
Rated R a little bit more.
Rated R had a big advantage coming into this. They were in a great setup. They got some great opening shots in, but just not capitalizing on the position has really hurt them, and they've fallen way behind. 1-5A out of the game. The other one's a one shot. Hitting the shots too, that's big. I've seen him bounce a lot of shots.
Yeah, the C100 is just being the shield, and he has done a very good job just taking hits. He's been penned once. I saw a couple shells going to the upper plate of the C100. Oh, quite a few shells went to the upper plate of the C100. I'm counting 3 in his upper plate.
I mean,
he's living up to the name, hold down.
I mean, it did take him a long time to get up to the hill, but as soon as he got up to the hill, he contributed big time to that push.
Yeah, and the Bat Chat won the other side. Won his 1v1 engager. There we go. English. $50B still manages to do 3,000 damage even after that early damage he took. That was all he took, were those first 2 shots. He never got shot again. I still think that IS-7, who made it up, should have been willing to take a hit or two. Chances are that the 113 was shooting heat, so IS-7 may have been able to get away with poking around the corner and just taking track damage and put another 500 into the 50B.
Good game to both teams. Good first map. And this time through, I guess it's going to depend on the map picked here, but I do think that Rated R has some good Bat Chat players. So if you're gonna, if the Bat Chat game is what you want to play, I think they need to go for an open map, something like Proc, even Steps. Muravanka's not a bad map for him. There's tons of map that I can't even think of currently that if I probably scroll up high enough here, I could figure it out. Oh, let's see. What other maps would be good for them? Airfield's not a bad map for them. Cliff, Dukla. Really, there's just so many in there to choose from. And they're going to go with Muravanka. So we're heading on over to Muravanka. And we will see where that takes us.
And FaZe, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of went into your guys' map picks for this Global Tank League?
Well, it's got to be somewhat reasonably fair. That's why we didn't include mines, is because one side has a huge advantage over the other. So the most even maps we can get, some maps that were good to play, even some maps that weren't in the WCL tournament, which you'll see that we took pretty much every map that was used in WCL, and we added a couple that have previously been used, or maps that a lot of people like to play comp on that weren't in the tournament. For instance, Ravage Capital's a big one, as well as what's the other one I'm thinking of? Hang on, I got to go back and look at him. He says down, so he wants the south spawn for. They want the south spawn for Muravanka, which is going to be the right side. So they're already on the right side of the spawn, so we're good. Going back to what I was saying, what went into this was just a list of maps that were usable. Airfield War, that was a map in WCL 2. Tundra, another map from WCL 2. And I think the only couple that were added that weren't in there was Himmelsdorf and Ravage Capital. Both were not. And I don't think Siege was played in WCL 3, however, it was played in WCL 2.
Have you played much on the new Kane, the Kane 1942?
I have not. What is it? I have not. I haven't been fortunate enough.
We played it in our last HN versus Nightmare night, and we found it is a very nice map for competitive. It seems very balanced, good opportunities. It felt like almost like a mixture between Prokhorovka and I think it was this map, Morovanka. It was pretty good.
I did
I liked
see.
it personally.
I did see, however, on a Wednesday Night Fights match, on your 6 taking on Red on that map. So we did see one comp game on that map already for Wednesday Night Fights.
Yeah, it played well. And then we did it again against 8th. Was it against 8th?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't
not
think
against
so.
8th.
I don't think we
Not
played them
against
with it.
8th. I must have done it with someone else. Doing something else, I don't know. But I liked it, personally. I think it was a good comp map.
I honestly have no problems with any of the maps that are in the rotation for this league, and I'm excited to participate.
Yeah, I think the big one that a lot of people were wondering about was going to be Mines, because it's a map that everybody loves to play for comp for some reason. But I just don't agree with the map as the North has a major advantage in getting to that hill first, I believe.
Yeah, North almost
And
always wins.
just, yeah, the big thing is the cross, the initial cross, the fact
Yeah.
that you can get spotted and annihilated so quick, and it's
Yep.
and you can't
Coming
really
across from
return
the city
favor.
island. Coming
Yeah.
Exactly, coming from the island back across is brutal. All right, it looks like both teams have 8 picked up, so if you guys want to go down the lineup again, and we'll get game 3 underway with LG leading 2-0.
All right. RTD-R has dual Batchats, dual IS-7s, dual 57s, and dual Super Conquerors.
RTD-R is running 2 bats, 2 IS-7s, 2 57 heavies, and also
say
2
LG?
super conks. Yes. Is that what the one
Well,
is?
oh, then I'll do LG now. Well, LG,
Rip.
I think I did say LG this time, who knows. An E4, 2 bats, 2 IS-7s, 2 Super Conks, and a 113.
Of course, I wasn't paying attention. Kind of what you were
All right,
saying
here
at
we
the
go.
moment too.
I don't know, I almost would like to have seen the... What do you guys think about replacing 2 IS-7s with 2 5As on this
I
map?
like IS-7s on this map. I don't like the 257s. I think 2 Super
That's a
Conks, 2
tough pick,
IS-7s
yes,
are
exactly.
more than enough to hold the 2-3 line. I think what they could have done, my favorite way to play this map is overmatch the mediums, which I've said many times, especially with Super Conks now. 2 Super Conks, 2 IS-7s, hold the 2-3 line, just get hauled down, just preserve your hit points, let your mediums win the field, and then just let your mediums do
Oh,
their thing
absolutely.
coming around. And the 57 heavies, I almost feel like aren't going to do much this game, unless they're able to make a push with them. Otherwise, I don't see it working on this map very well, especially against 2 IS-7s and 2 Super Conquerors. 1 Super Conqueror. No, it is 2. There it is.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, you know, you can't really, like, unless they're close range and able, just to put in forklifts and maybe take one in return, I can't see it. Also, I cannot see them being, like, I just think there's better tanks to put in place of,
Yep.
like,
Problem with the
you know.
57 heavies is going to be that turret's just so easily pennable. I mean, that's... Everybody knows if you're going to shoot the T-57, shoot them in the turret.
like those cheeks.
One thing you can do from the north side, which
Oh,
I
fear my
really...
skill gets pelted.
Ooh.
Oof.
He's in big trouble.
Wow. One thing I wish King of Guns had done with his spotting run is, the heavies are going to be pushing down towards the 2 line. So he pushed up towards the middle of the spot, and he did scout half of them, though he's not able to put any shots in. What I would have done with my Batchat is actually gone towards the city, gone towards the town, and you're able to spot them and shoot them from here because you already know where they're going.
Oh no, they're both on reload right now. And they're going to get picked apart by LG's bat if he's playing heads up right now.
No, he's
He's
reloading
getting
now.
some good shots in. The other
Sure,
bat is
still a
still
second
out.
for the
They're both reloading. There they go.
Yeah. Alright, well, hit points
You
are
know what, the
now
cap?
even again.
What do you do right now? What do you do with these 257 heavies? There's no way they can step out there and try to fight 2 IS-7s, 2 Super
No,
Conks, and
there's
E4. and
nothing you can do.
113.
The only way you can really get it into the fight right now is getting it into the cap circle, but that's just death. I feel 75, maybe even 80% of the time, the team that touches the cap circle first loses.
And I mean, what they're doing now is exactly what you mean. I mean, like you could put so many different tanks there that could do the job that they're doing now better.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, are you
Absolutely.
going to be able to get your magazine off, or are you just going to go one shot at a time? If you're going to go one shot at a time, E5 will do better, I7, another IS, they can't take another IS7, they already have two, but like a 5A can do better. Chieftains will do great, and E4
I
can just
almost
go shot
would've-
for shot.
I almost would have rather have seen him pick two Object 140s in place of the T57 heavies. I mean, if you look at it now, you have two bats, 257 heavies. That's a lot of burst damage, but that's a lot of reloading too. Especially if you miss a couple of shots.
And I honestly don't think the 57 stuff even unloaded a single clip yet. So
No, they're already taking damage. The 57 to me just feels so awkward too when I play it.
I like the spread by LG. I really like their spread right now. If you look at their tanks, they're not standing on top of each other. They're not all in the same spot. They're spread out. They're using their tanks to the best of their abilities. Hold down, behind cover. They've got it figured out. You look at the other side. You look at Rated R. They're kind of in each other's way almost, as far as like being on top of each other. If Vengeful takes a shot, he's going to risk hitting Warhawk, FL. Now Burnbox is going to step right in his way. So if you look at the two teams right now, I definitely like the setup better from LG than they do from Rated R.
and again, you know, Rated R is kind of huddled in, all four tanks are kind of just huddled in the same corner. Batchats are making a move now. By the looks of it, they're going to see if they can go get some spots or make some kind of play to get LG to
Oh,
move.
absolutely.
Oh, they're just HE
Here,
killing
my
the
skill
Super
has to be
Conk.
careful.
Slowly
He
but
has to be
surely, the
careful.
Super
He's-
Conk is losing health to HE rounds. Now he's got his side. I almost feel he's going to take a hit from somebody. No, he is going to get down and under. But he's by himself.
He does have the two Batchats over towards the
He
map,
does,
forest,
but
as we call it.
he's almost out of the fight now. Where he is. He's just... Now, I feel LG can just focus their entire attention down this left side now. Once those two Batchats get spotted, I am almost sure LG is going to make some kind of push and realize, oh, Super Conqueror's back there, another Super Conqueror's up towards the right, low in health. So it's just these four tanks right here. It's... Look at all the health. Super Conqueror, full health. Two IS7s, full health. 113 still full health. An E4 and Batchat are still full health. It's...
And you might have the Batchat get melted here in King of Guns.
Batchat's going down. There he goes, he's down.
And yep. Ouch.
And now all that's left is that other Batchat who's spotted, and he's taking hits.
So now that
Ooh,
he's
it's
spotted,
another
that basically makes.
Oh,
well,
boy.
there you
Oh,
go.
and there
Gears
goes-
goes down. Gears, for some
Ow.
reason, didn't want to move. He continued to put his shots in. He wasn't tracked. He just went down. I don't think that was necessary, because he didn't get the kill.
I still think Rated R can salvage this just a little bit because Fear My Skill is low enough where he's a two-shot for anybody right now, other than the other Batchat. So they kind of can still salvage the tank fight and keep it even as far as guns in the game goes, but they're still...
And again, it comes down to those 57s. Like, the only real brawling tanks that Rated R or RTD-R has is a couple IS7s. Other than that, they can't really brawl compared to LG.
Now here's the push. This
Looks
is
like LG's
exactly
gonna
what they
make
need,
it.
and it's gonna be
And the
over.
Conqueror is out of the fight, and he takes a big hit, and he's out of the fight.
You can't hit anymore now.
But here's the problem: if LG goes along with this right now, they're going to be in big trouble because that IS7 and that 113 will get torn to pieces if they go in there by themselves.
What they can do is take this Batchat, just push them over. Just push the Batchat over, get the guns to turn, and then take the rest of your tanks and just push. As soon as the heads turn, your Batchat's gonna die, but it's whatever because they're gonna shoot at him, turn their armor towards him, and then you can
So the
just
Conch
push it with
circled
your IS7s.
around. The Super Conch
Here
of,
comes the Batchat.
its wee man went around the backside and he came back around towards his team instead of coming at an angle kind of on the backside. But it looks like it's going to be too little too late right here as they have practically two tanks that are either one or a two shot, and a T-57 heavy and a super conch.
All right. Fear my
You're gonna get-
skills. Oh,
And
he goes
gets
down.
him.
Shoddy
He gets him.
snipes him. Lives up to his name, but
Nice.
still one shot. I feel too late. I don't know how they're gonna salvage this. It is a 57 heavy. If he can empty his magazine without going down, this game is they're back in it, definitely. But
Oh, he's on reload, and that's it for him.
and he's 2 hit
That's
points.
trouble.
It's over. Hold on, it's gonna go around and execute him. I
That
think.
is
No, he
trouble.
bounces his shot up off the IS-7. Oh, Shoddy snipe goes down. Just the IS-7 and Super Conch. He goes down. E4 just puts it straight through his upper plate. Eh, almost.
Hernbox
Can't
is
even
still
tell.
hanging on back there with 2 HP. Amazing.
And
Oh,
he goes
3
down.
HP.
Technically 3. It's, yeah, I found out every tank actually has 1 more hit point than it actually stands. Because you can actually have
And
0
there
hit points
goes-
drive around.
That
What?
leaves Yield to None on his own. And I just don't see how this is going to work out for him. There is too much HP on the other side of the map, and he does not have enough.
I don't know, dude.
Miracles.
Yes.
I'll tell you, if he does, I will give him $50 if he makes out.
They should just fire HE. Rude fires a heat shell straight into his face.
Even
armor,
an HE,
and
there it
it's
is.
too late.
86, and good game to both teams. Well played, both sides. I hope both teams go back, watch the video, take something away from this. Whether you won or you lost, take something out of it, positive. I'll tell you, I've learned a lot more from a loss than I have a win. And that's my honest opinion. Learn from the
Oh, yeah.
losses. Thank you guys for coming out. Both teams are great. Both teams did a good job, and we can't wait to see everybody compete in the upcoming GTL tournament. And yeah, good job to LG for coming out 3-0 over Rated R, and thank you Rated R for coming out and playing. You guys are great as well. And I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching tonight. Thank you so much. And as soon as registration closes for the Global Tank League, we'll have a couple of streams, and we'll go over quite a bit different material as far as how the league is going to be structured, what teams are playing who, schedules, how that's all going to work out, and what prizes we're going to have available.
Yes. So I've got somebody asking in my comment section. He wants to know if this is closed. Oh, what? I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to. What his question
Like
is
if
actually.
registration's closed, or
He says, "Is it closed bid or something?" Are you talking about the? Let me try to type to him. It is console. Let's see if he responds to that. This is a. I'll just tell him community run tournament. It's a tournament, right?
It's more a
Or is
league.
it? It's a league.
It's a league.
it's a league. In a sense, it's a tournament, but like it's based off like of a point system and moving up a league, trying to move up your leagues and like seasons and stuff. So, in
So
a
one thing that
sense
kind of
it is.
separates this
Ah, I
from
see,
a
I
lot of the
see.
others is there will be an off season, there'll be a preseason, and then there will be just the regular league. However, as far as pricing goes, we're not trying to rely as much on the past as prior leagues have on pricing from Wargaming directly. We're trying to make it so that players get pricing paid to them. For instance, per se, like if you go out and win, and you win the tournament, instead of saying here's 1,000 gold, here's 2,000 gold, here's a free tank, here's 6 million silver. Instead, saying here's $50, go do with it what you want. If that makes sense. I mean, how much we'll have at the first go of it depends on how much merchandise we can sell. As some of you may or may not be aware, we do have a website for the Global Tank League. It is oneextralife.com. ONEXTRALIFA.com. And on there, there's some merchandise for sale for some of the teams, and a short little bio about some of the teams that have already signed up. But like I said, all that stuff is also available in the Google Play Store, or I'm sorry, the Google Store. So if you were shopping on Google, you can see it in there as well. And as much profit as we get at that, we take none. We don't keep any money. It goes right back to the league. And essentially to the winning teams, and eventually we'd love to have it so that we could afford to pay all the teams. just a small amount of money, and more so to the winning team, obviously, and the higher seeded teams. That is.
All right. Fantastic. So sorry, Mark. Yeah, this is Xbox, not PlayStation. You're gonna have to find somebody. Get in the
ESL.
forums. Maybe somebody does run something like this on the forums on PlayStation 4. Just get in the forums, try to
Believe
find
it or
something like
not,
this.
ESL, Esports League, they're actually big into PlayStation. I don't know what went wrong with the Xbox side of things. I don't work for either company, so I couldn't tell you, but they're big with PlayStation right now. Apparently, they have tournaments every Friday or Saturday or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't play PlayStation, but I am aware that they are affiliated with PlayStation and already having tournaments.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with your advice. Just go into the forums, check to see if there's Discord links or etc. See if you can get involved in the PS4 community. I don't know what they have for PS4 community for tanks console, anyways. I'm sure there would be something. So, but I'm not
I never see a
100%.
lot on Facebook about PlayStation. It's weird. It's always
Yeah,
Xbox.
I
So
mean,
weird.
PS4 did come behind Xbox when it comes to World of Tanks and their console. Like they're pretty much. Are they even up to speed with us yet when it comes to content?
I do believe so.
But yeah, they were okay. But I know they were in a kind of a catch-up phase for the last. How I've been out for the last half a year. They were in a catch-up phase, but I guess they're caught up now. So who knows? It can only be a matter of time before we kind of see the same stuff on PS4 when it comes to community run tournaments, etc.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think
They should merge.
the first full year they played catch up, and then sometime after that they became on the same update as us.
Yeah, there should be cross-platform play, I think. I know a couple of years ago they said they couldn't get the legalistic stuff side of things down. Like Sony didn't want to allow Microsoft servers to, you know, to communicate together. But now you've got Fortnite and Minecraft and all these and War Thunder, and they're all cross-platform. So it's possible now, and I'm hoping eventually
I know.
Wargaming will
I
be able
mean,
to do that.
it's possible, but I don't know what it is. It's just Microsoft and Sony. I don't know if they don't like each other or what it is,
The
but
last
no,
I heard about it, this was years ago, so I don't even know if it's still true or not. Microsoft said that they'd be alright with it, but Sony never even responded to it. They didn't say yes, they didn't say no, they didn't say maybe. They just never responded officially.
Well, I think they
As
should
far as
try
I'm
again.
sure. So I don't
I know.
I don't know.
I, I mean, I can't see it being a bad business decision for both sides. Like, I can't see cross-platform play between both systems hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Buddy's company. I can see it making it better. Maybe one might get better than the other, but I can't. I don't know. I guess that's why I don't run a big business because I'll never know.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching the stream tonight. And I want to say thank you to Clone Guy, the Null Trooper, Got a Dinghy, and Rage Tanker, and Don Cheto all for coming out tonight commentating, and Don Cheto for running the room, Dinghy for streaming, Clone Guy for streaming, and Rage for doing commentary as well. Thank you guys for coming out. And as always, guys, thank you for tuning in and watching, and we hope to be back with you guys next week.
Yep. Thanks for having us and putting this on. And good luck to any teams that play next week.